most of the best in the world in business or in sports, they have also coaches on the side and mentors on the side. Why? Because they want that 1% of 1% of 1% to get better. But so many times we feel like, well, we don't really need it. Man, I think it is one of the most vital things to our life, to your company, for us as a ministry. We have so many pastors and wise counsel that we go to.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom, now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zuttner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. The seeds bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Folks, on today's show, we're interviewing a guest who has interviewed hundreds of exceptional leaders on his show called The Learning Leader Show. He's interviewed Tony Robbins, Admiral William McRaven, Susan Cain, James Clear, Jocko Willink, and many others. And he's here to talk about his new book, The Price of Becoming, and more. Again, this is a guy, if you want to learn leadership, you want to learn optimization, you want to learn how to take your career to the next level, this is a guy you want to get to know. Ryan Hawk, welcome onto the Thrivetime Show. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me. This is really cool, man. Good to be with you.
So, Ryan, I'm going to pull up your website so our listeners can see it. But for those out there that haven't been to your website yet, kind of walk us through your background and how you, where you started and your life before becoming a renowned, I'll call it life optimization expert.
Okay. Background in sports. Grew up playing football, baseball, basketball. That was our whole family life. That's all we focused on. That's all we did. It's all we loved, and it was the coolest upbringing ever for my parents. My mom and dad are still very much heroes in my life. I'm the middle of 3 boys, and I just grew up competing, playing a lot of sports. I went to college on a football scholarship, played quarterback, finished college playing, and played in the Arena Football League for a little bit, and very briefly in the Canadian Football League. And then once football retired me, I had to get a real job and was hired by a guy I love and a friend of mine to this day named Rex Caswell as a telephonic sales rep at LexisNexis. I did that for 12 years. While I was there, I started my podcast on the side as a form of a leadership PhD program for me. That's why I called it the Learning Leader Show. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. Now 700 of these interviews over the past decade plus, and here we are, man. I left corporate America at the end of 2017 to do this full time, and it's the coolest gig ever, man. I'm just grateful I get to do it every day.
When did it occur to you that sports wasn't going to be your future?
Well, I mean, so I had a lot of where they would bring you in on like a Tuesday. NFL teams would bring you in on Tuesday workouts. You hear about these Tuesday workout guys. And every time I'd be brought in, I realized there'd be other guys with me usually, and I was not as good as the other guys they would bring with me, and those guys weren't getting signed either. So, you kind of realize, all right, do I want to be kind of a professional minor league player, which was arena football, which is okay. It's not bad. It's fun. I'm glad I did it for a few years. But that wasn't like a long-term thing, at least not for me. And so after a couple years after college, that's when I realized, okay, football is awesome. I love it. It's changed my life, but I think it's time for me to do the next thing.
So when did you sit down and say, Self, I want to interview 700 people, 1,000 people. I want to learn. I want to give myself almost like an MBA on leadership and success. When did that thought come to you?
Two different things. So first, when I finished playing football, I got hired by, again, Rex Caswell, a mentor who I still love. And I had never had a real job in my life. I'd only played sports. And so he said, hey, I'm going to have you sit with, in their cubicle, the 10 highest performing sales reps from the past year. And I'm going to give you these questions to ask them, interview them. And I want you then to create this report, like a book of sorts, on what the best of the best do. And then I want you to take everything you've learned from that book that you created and implement it so that you can be good at the job, because I'd never done it before. So it started with those 10 interviews where Rex helped me. Then fast forward some years after things were going well and I'd gotten promoted to a leadership role. I then earned my MBA. It took me 6 years. Did not love the process of getting my MBA. They tell you got to take these classes at these times with these teachers. You have no real say in anything if you want the certification of an MBA. And so I thought, well, I'd love to go back to school to get some sort of leadership degree because I'm struggling as a new manager. And instead, I was a podcast listener. I'd done lots of interviews to hire people for my team as well as other teams at LexisNexis. And I thought, what if I just started my own podcast as my own form of a leadership PhD program? I get to pick my own professors. I can ask them whatever I want, as well as if I'm going to go towards some of these famous people that you mentioned before, the chance of them saying yes to talk to me probably increases if I say, can I have you on my podcast versus saying, can I call you? And that was 11 and a half years ago. And here we are, man.
So at a certain point, I'm going to pull up your new book here. At a certain point, you thought to yourself, okay, I'm seeing patterns with some of these successful people, and I'm going to organize it into an actionable book that other people can use. This book called The Price of Becoming, the compounding practices of high performance, the price of becoming, the compounding practices of high performance. Again, just coming up with a title, you had to clearly start to think of, wow, there are some compounding practices of high performance that I should probably detail into a book. When did it occur to you, hey, I got to put all this into a book?
Book writing starts as me search. It's the greatest tool for learning that exists for me, which is trying to get those messy thoughts out of your head onto the page. So I'm regularly writing constantly as it is. When you sign up for a book, it's helpful because then you're forced to get very clear on what you think and what you believe, and you have to organize those thoughts. You got to take the best of the best. You got to have some sort of theme around your thinking. And so it works as this like really cool project to organize what you believe, to get really, really clear. And so I've done it. This is my 4th time now writing a book, and I do it. It starts as a selfish endeavor so that I can learn and I can get more clear. And then as I go, I hope that it can be helpful for other people. So I talked to JJ Redick many years ago when he was still playing and in the NBA, and he echoed this phrase of "You've never arrived, you're always becoming." And I've ripped off that phrase from JJ a billion times since we had that conversation. And so this idea of never arriving, always becoming then became this kind of title of The Price of Becoming, mixed with then the compounding practices of high performance, because Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger have gotten really good at sharing their messages when it comes to the power of compounding as far as business and finance and investing and money. And then I've borrowed from them when it comes to living your life as a human, as a person who wants to get better. So it's this combination of compounding with this idea of never arriving and always becoming.
Now, you have a 3-step framework that you talk about in your book and you talk about in your podcast, this learn, work, lead. Learn, work, lead. Talk to us about this 3-step framework and how that can be applied by our listeners.
It's trying to map out like the ideal day. What's the flywheel of an ideal day for me? So the first part of that is you have to fuel your intake engine. Listen to podcasts, read books, talk to mentors, right? Get out in the world and learn from other people. Fuel that intake engine. Second, though, you can't just be a learner. You got to be a doer. You got to experiment, right? So then do the actual work. Don't like, we learn who we are in practice, not in theory. That comes from Herminia Ibarra. She said that on my show. And so I really try to put that experimentation mindset into play. Do it. I think you got to make sure you take a moment after you've run these experiments to reflect, to pause, to think about what worked, what didn't work, what should I keep doing, what should I stop doing. And then the last part of it is teach it to somebody else. If you really want to learn something, if you want to get really, really clear on where you're at, then try to teach it to somebody else. Now, writing is a form of teaching. Getting up and speaking on stages, that's a form of teaching. Meeting one-on-one with a mentee, that's a form of teaching. So that's really the flywheel. Fuel the intake engine, run the experiments, reflect on what worked, what didn't, and then teach it to somebody else. Keep that flywheel turning, and I like your odds of compounding over a long period of time, of you making a positive dent in the world, of you kind of falling into cool opportunities if you live in that way. And that's aspirational for me. I'm striving to live that way, and sometimes I get it right, and certainly sometimes I don't.
Now, you articulate this in your writings as well as your podcast. You have these 5 areas of personal growth, and one is curiosity. I want to go through each one of these 5. One is curiosity. I find that I've interviewed so many successful entrepreneurs, and I can tell you my own experiences. Every entrepreneur who's successful is infinitely curious. What is your research shown you about the infinite curiosity or lack thereof of entrepreneurs?
Well, I mean, there's actual science that we cite in the book that it increases neural pathways as you age to increase curiosity, to ask questions, to have a desire to learn, to know more. Like, it actually can legitimately help you live longer and a better life. So I think that, the science aside, that's important to think about that. Curiosity to me, though, is the ultimate form of showing somebody love. It is my love language. It's how I both give and receive love, is to be genuinely curious and interested in somebody else. You've probably seen all of the things online to be interesting, be interested, right? You make a living doing this. And I think that's really, really important, is showing up in the world with an open mind, a desire to learn, ask about people, their stories, find them fascinating, be a really, really good listener, and ask even better follow-up questions than initial ones. And that's how you can go deep and build meaningful relationships with other people. And if you look at the study of happiness over the 90-year longitudinal study that started in Boston, that's expanded, what is the one common denominator among those who live a fulfilling and happy life? It's love, full stop. It's deep, meaningful relationships. And those, I think, stem from being really, really curious about people. So to live a good life, to learn, to grow, to improve, I think being curious is probably as important of a skill as there is.
When you were playing football, what you would go, because again, at the top levels, I mean, you were obviously very successful in high school, then you were very successful as a pro level. There's I've heard Tom Brady talk about throwing a football, and the level of detail he has thought about the process of throwing a football is amazing. And then even Tom Brady, as great as he is and as accurate as he is, he talks about how Aaron Rodgers is even better. I want to get your thoughts on this, about that humble coachability that leads to being curious. Because Tom Brady is clearly the best, or was the best at football, but yet he still, to this day, talks about how Aaron Rodgers can really throw a football in a way he never could. So there's kind of that humble coachability, but there's also a confidence there. Can you walk us through kind of the balance of that?
Yeah, it reminds me of when I had Kat Cole on my show, when I asked her about like what's the makeup of an excellent leader, and she said on one side they're very, very confident and courageous, so they can stand up for what they believe in. They have confidence that's built through evidence that they've done really hard things and will be able to continue to do them in the future. But equally balanced, they're very, very curious and very, very humble, right? And so they have this equally weighted balance of being courageous and confident, but also really curious and humble to say, I don't have it all figured out. I don't have all the answers. I need help from my teammates. I need help from my coaches. I'm striving to learn, to improve, to grow. Yeah, if you look at the best of the best, they're constantly watching film, constantly looking for both their own film as well as that of others, of what are they doing that I could potentially learn from them. How could I improve? How could I get better every single day? And they're the ones who really, really want coaching. It's funny in my own coaching business that with the leaders on my team, I found that the people who are like 5s and 6s in the world, they have no desire to work with us, none. But the people who are 8s and 9s, the ones who are already crushing it, like doing really, really well, having record-breaking years, their companies are doing amazing, they're the ones reaching out, asking for us to work with them. So it's wild how it works, whether it's in sports or it's in the professional leadership world. The people who are doing really well, they're the ones who seem to always want feedback, always want coaching. They want to get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And I think that's really cool to see that. I'm sure you've seen that as well. That's a common theme among those who have sustained excellence over time, is a desire to improve and get outside coaching to help them improve.
Now, in your book, you talk about resilience, and I can think of nothing that demonstrates resilience more than being just demolished on the football field. I mean, being hit by a linebacker or a defensive end or somebody much larger than you who has successfully somehow found you on the football field and tackled you. But you have to get back up and play the next play. So I think as a star standout quarterback, you've probably learned resilience by getting knocked out or knocked down all the time and getting back up. But what does your book teach people out there about resilience that maybe haven't been hit physically on a field perpetually?
Well, I mean, part of the price are these like unsexy words, and this comes up, like I wrote about this because at the end of keynote speeches you do Q&A, and John Maxwell gave me this advice years ago to say, hey, pay close attention to the questions that those people are asking you at the end of your keynotes. There's a lot of gold in there, right, in those questions. And so the questions were about like, what's the quick hack, or what do I do, or how do I get on stages? How do I achieve whatever they're trying to achieve? What's the quick thing I can change right now? And the answer always like would be upsetting to people, because I'd say there's not a quick hack. It is, yes, the only certainty of life. There's a few of them, but one of them is the fact that you're going to get beat down. Adversity is going to strike. The choice is, how are you going to choose to respond? And the difference between the people who sustain excellence and the ones who don't is this willingness to be dependable and reliable, and most importantly, consistent, to get up and do it the next day and the next day and the next day, regardless of what happens. And I think that's not super exciting for people to hear when they say it. Well, I go, well, get up and keep after it every day for decades. and that's just hard, right? I learned this in my first job at LexisNexis. I'm making 60 cold calls a day, sometimes going 0 for 60. But to get that sale, to hit your quota, to hit the number, you got to keep making the calls. You got to keep dialing the phone. The next one's one step closer to getting not a no, a potential opportunity. So yeah, it's just this willingness to keep going day after day after day. And I think most people, they don't want to do that. They're willing to start, but they're not willing to keep going when it gets really, really hard.
When you were making 60 calls a day or 100 calls a day, what kind of people were you calling, and what kind of things were you trying to sell?
So I worked at LexisNexis. We were selling legal information services tools to lawyers. So I was calling lawyers all day, cold calling them. They were not expecting my calls. They didn't want me to call them. So these are very intelligent, very educated, sometimes harsh, very good arguers most of the time. So it was great training for me, because I'm calling people who have crushed it, a lot of them in some cases, trying to convince them to just give me some more time, to give a shot, to say, hey, you should potentially switch from our competitor, which was Thomson Reuters Westlaw, to us, LexisNexis, who was number 2 in the market at the time, to say, let me show you how this can help make you a better lawyer, how it can make you have a better life. And it was really, really hard, really, really tough. But getting rejected constantly was amazing training for anything else you're going to do in life, because every once in a while you'd figure out a way to kind of get through some of that rejection, and then get an opportunity and do a product demonstration, and then get through the discovery phase where you can learn their current state and their desired state and how your solution could bridge that gap, and then you would make a sale. And I think that is a great skill to develop regardless of what you're going to do in life.
Now, in your book, you talk about relationships. And, I think about, my career, and there's probably, let's say 50 core relationships that I've nurtured for 20 plus years, where, year after year, we maintain that relationship. And just yesterday, I went to a restaurant, not a bougie restaurant, just a very normal restaurant. And the guy seated to my right is a billionaire. And I've known him since he was a millionaire. And he's known me since I was a $1,000-aire. And he's been in my life for 20 something years. And I noticed him over there and I said, "Hey man, what's up?" And he was hanging out with his grandkids. And I pulled the waiter aside. I said, "Hey, Mr. Waiter, make sure we pay for that guy's meal." And it wasn't a bougie restaurant. It wasn't a big thing. I just wanted to make sure I did that. I just said hi to the guy for 30 seconds. Didn't want to interrupt his meal. But hey, man, appreciate the work you did in my life. Thank you, all the advice, mentorship. And I went out of my way, didn't have to say hi to the guy. And I would argue the most selfish thing that I could do for myself is to maintain that relationship. The most selfish thing I could do for my career is for my wife and I to say hi to a guy who has been in our life for 20 plus years. The most selfish thing I could probably do is, pay for his meal. And I think a lot of times people are, with relationships, they're very quick to destroy them. They're dismissive of them. Can you talk about what your book teaches readers about maintaining or establishing relationships?
I'm curious, what makes you say that was a selfish thing of you to do?
Well, I would just say, if you wanted to make your career go to the next level, I think the most selfish thing you could do for your own self-interest is to maintain relationships. I think if you are if you're somebody watching this and you're kind of antisocial, I think the best thing you can do for your career is to maintain a long-time relationship.
So every single opportunity you've ever gotten in your life, so take stock of them real quick. Think about every single opportunity that's come your way. I would bet every single one of them has come from a person or a group of people. Everything in life that happens comes through a person. You don't know how, you don't know when, you don't know where, sometimes you don't know why, but everything that happens comes from a person. Like, I just was on a call this morning with somebody who's listened to the podcast for a long time, and now they're having their kickoff national sales meeting and they want me to speak at it. I didn't know that he was in my life. I didn't know he existed. But he had been building this parasocial relationship over the last few years and getting a lot of value from it. And now that opportunity has come through him, a single person. And that's how literally everything has happened in the business, my life, personally, professionally. Everything has come through a person. So really, what is life all about? Whether it's, again, professionally or personally, it's about people. It's about those in your life. It's about your friends. It's about your wife, in my case, your case. It's about your kids. It's about literally everything. I mentioned Rex Caswell. I mentioned my parents. I mentioned my brothers. Everything we're talking about is about other people and the relationships you develop with them. And I think when in doubt, yes, focus deeply on people, on getting to know people, on trying to understand them, on trying to add value to their life. That's really the name of any game. Like, if you're trying to get promoted, add value to people's lives at your company and make your boss's life better, right? Like, anything you're trying to do, if you focus all of your efforts on adding value to someone else's life, and then you just keep doing that day after day after day, you're probably going to have a really, really nice life, a really enjoyable life, a really fulfilling life, a lot of good, rich relationships, as well as probably a lot of really cool opportunities. But if you had the opposite view of like entitlement or thinking you're owed something, I don't like your odds of good things happening. But if you focus on adding value to other people's lives, I'm probably going to bet on you.
Folks, this is powerful. You talk about, how to become successful. This is how to do it. I mean, these are very practical tips that are going to be very, very well laid out with examples and all sorts of research in this book. I'll put a link to the book here again in just a moment. But I encourage everybody out there, go to Amazon right now. Let me go to Amazon right now. Let me do this right now. I'm going to go to Amazon. I'm going to pull it up here. We're going to go there together, folks. I'm doing it.
You're going to buy it right now?
We're going to, well, let me see here. We're going to Amazon right now. I just want to make sure we can find it because there's so many books out there. I want to make sure we're getting the right book. So this is it right here. Okay. Now here's my commitment. When we hop off this show, I will make sure that I buy a copy of your book and have it shipped to my office here. And I'll do that within 10 minutes when we hop off the show. But I want everyone to just check out the book there, The Price of Becoming. Very important that you find this book, you look it up, because again, this is the stuff behind the stuff. You talk about wanting to become successful. These are the specific processes and principles you have to learn. This final area I wanted to ask you about today with the limited time we have is endurance. Endurance. What does your book tell readers about endurance?
So there are some in life that are just brilliant. They show up, they're super smart, they're charismatic, they're compelling, they're great storytellers, they're just brilliant people, okay? For the rest of us, where I would put myself, for the rest of us, we've got to be willing to endure. We've got to be willing to get up and get after it day after day after day. Endurance, to me, is more valuable than brilliance because so few people in the world are just brilliant from birth. The James Clears are out there and Morgan Housels and Cat Coles. Like, they're just brilliant. Now, why they crush it even more is because they're also very kind and generous, and they can endure, and they're consistent. So they're the aliens in the world, right? But for the rest of us, we don't have that. We can make the choice to be consistent and to endure and to keep after it day after day, and then to stack days. Day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and then let the power of compounding take over because you're willing to stack those days and endure. That's an inspiring message for me. Again, it's aspirational for me. I try to do this because I know it gives me a shot to leave a positive dent in the world and live out my purpose. But if I needed to be brilliant, then it's probably not going to work. But I can endure. I can get up and be consistent and get after it day after day, and then that gives me a chance to make a difference. So I think for most of us, that's what we need to focus on. And if you happen to be born brilliant or you're amazing, well, great. Then you're like Michael Jordan, right, and Kobe Bryant. You're born with all this talent and skill, and you work insanely hard and you're consistent. You'll be one of the greatest of all time. I think if that's the case, great. But for the rest of us, hey, get up, endure, be consistent, stack days, and then watch the power of compounding take over.
I've got 3 rapid fire final questions for you. One, what does your hat mean?
This is my logo. So these look like 2 L's pointing up, learning leader. So I had this logo made for me like 10 years ago, and that's what it stands for.
Okay. 2, when you're not helping people grow their companies or growing organizations, what do you like doing?
Swimming with my kids.
Swimming with the kids.
Skiing, swimming with my kids. Anything active with my wife and my kids, for sure. Yeah.
Final question I have here for you. You're going to do a lot of interviews. You have done a lot of interviews. What's the one thing that you want to make sure you communicate to our listeners, on this interview? Is there anything in particular that's on your heart that you would just say, hey, wow, this is something I want to get out, a message that you want to convey to our audience?
I think we hit on it a little bit before, but especially when speaking with younger people who are graduating college, I've had a lot of these conversations, I feel like, recently, and the main thing I would say is remove any type of entitlement or thinking that you deserve anything. Your sole focus should be on adding value to other people's lives. If you add value to other people's lives, again, I like your chances of good things happening for you. So that's really the main thing I try to focus on, and I was fortunate to learn that early on in my life. And again, it's aspirational. I mess it up all the time, but that's what I'm trying really hard to do. And I think if other people do that, then the odds are better that good things will happen for them.
Now, folks, the website, I'm going to pull up the link to the book here. I'll also put a link to your website in the show notes. The book is called The Price of Becoming, the Compounding Practices of High Performance. Let me try that again. The Price of Becoming, the Compounding Practices of High Performance. You can pick up a hardcover copy right there by Ryan Hawk. Ryan, I really do appreciate your time, your energy, the research that went into the book. And again, just thank you so much for sowing seeds into the world out there. I know somebody out there is going to pick up a copy of your book and you're going to change a life. So thank you so much.
Thank you. This is awesome. I really appreciate it.
That Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him. Character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
Yeah. But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is. He is.
He has just a wealth of knowledge. He's worked with so many different companies and different businesses. He could take a concept that he's used before in the past with somebody totally different industry and see how it would work perfectly for you in whatever niche market you're in or whatever type of service you're providing. And so his brain is just a wealth of knowledge, and just to have that type of perspective on, as a part of your team and your own company is huge, super valuable. So I would definitely encourage people to use him. But one thing is, you got to be coachable. You got to be wanting to get feedback. You got to be wanting to really grow your company. You got to want to put that extra 10 hours a week to working on your business and not just in your business. And so, yes, I would recommend it to anybody who's wanting to grow their company and provide great systems, checklists, workflows, great encouragement, and have accountability.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town, And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.
Are you looking to start or grow a super successful business? Join Eric Trump, the New York Times bestselling author of The Carnivore Diet, Sean Baker. Join hundreds of real business owner client success stories at the highest rated business conference in America. Join Mel Kay, Pastor Jackson Lawmeyer, Julie Green, Amanda Grace, Pastor Dave Scarlett, and myself in Tulsa, Oklahoma, November 5th and 6th. Attend the most real, the most authentic, the highest rated, and most reviewed Ultimate Business Growth Workshop. During this 2-day interactive business workshop, you're going to learn everything you need to know to make your business grow. Learn how to generate more sales. Learn how to produce additional high-quality inbound leads. Learn how to create repeatable systems. Learn how to build a successful business. And learn how to do it now. If you've ever wanted to learn how to start and grow a super successful company, this is the event for you. At our 2-day interactive business workshop, we will teach you specifically every step that you need to take to start and grow a super successful company. We will teach you specifically how to get to the top of the Google search engine results, how to dominate artificial intelligence search results, how to market via social media, how to generate more leads, and how to get in front of your ideal and likely buyers. We're going to teach you the step-by-step processes that you need to learn in order to hire, inspire, train, and retain high-quality employees and teammates. We're going to teach you specifically what you need to learn to manage a team of people. We're going to teach you how to manage your finances, how to look at the numbers, and to figure out the specific steps that you need to take to create a time freedom and financial freedom producing business. At the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop, we've been teaching entrepreneurs everything they need to know to start and grow a successful company since 2005. In fact, at our 2-day interactive business workshops, we're going to teach you marketing, systems and scaling, human resources, accounting, social media marketing, branding, search engine optimization, sales training, financial management, and so much more. You can learn more and request tickets today simply by going to thrivetimeshow.com. Yes, you can request tickets today simply by going to thrivetimeshow.com. That's the website. Join Eric Trump, myself, and Team America live and in person at the Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshop, November 5th and 6th in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas, and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrivetime, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. So I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement.
Okay, Aaron Antis, November 5th and 6th. Guess who's coming back to Tulsa? I will give you a hint. His first name is Eric. and his last name is Trump. Whoa. And his father is the 47th president of these United States. Yes, Eric Trump is joining us once again here September 25th and 26th in Tulsa, Oklahoma for the two-day interactive Thrivetime Show Business Growth Workshop. But Eric Trump is bringing friends. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Amanda Grace will be in the place. Dr. Stella Emanuel will be here in T-Town in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Julie Green will be on the scene. Mel K will be here to say hey. Dave Scarlett from the His Glory team will be here. It's going to be a blasty blast right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you want to start or grow a super successful company, if you want to make your wallet great again or make your wallet great for the first time, if you want to learn marketing, systems, scaling, human resources, accounting, social media, branding, search engine optimization, sales training, financial management, and more, get your tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com. Once again, that's thrivetimeshow.com.
Hey, I'm Ryan Wimpy. I'm originally from Tulsa, born and raised here. I've definitely learned a lot about life design and making sure the business serves you. The linear workflow for us and getting everything out on paper and documented is really important. Like we have workflows that are kind of all over the place, so having linear workflow and seeing that mapped out on multiple different boards is pretty awesome. That's really helpful for me. The atmosphere here is awesome. I definitely just stared at the walls, figuring out how to make my facility look like this place. This place rocks. It's invigorating. The walls are super, it's just very cool. The atmosphere is cool. The people are nice. It's a pretty cool place to be. Very good learning atmosphere. I literally want to model it and steal everything that's here at this facility and basically create it just on our business side. Play is hilarious. I literally laughed so hard that I started having tears yesterday. And we've been learning a lot, which, we've been sitting here, we've been learning a lot, and so the humor definitely helps. It breaks it up. But the content is awesome, off the charts, and it's very interactive. You can raise your hand. It's not like you're just listening to the professor speak, The wizard teaches, but the wizard interacts and he takes questions, so that's awesome. If you're not attending the conference, you're missing about 3/4 to half of your life. You're definitely, it's probably worth a couple $1,000s. So you're missing the thought process of someone that's already started like 9 profitable businesses. So not only is it a lot of good information, but just getting in the thought.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
Well, people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. There's not 50 employees. The Trump organization, again, most people don't know this, but the Trump organization has thousands of employees. And while Donald J. Trump was the 45th president of these United States, he needed a competent man to run and execute his business plans. Showtime! So the man that runs the Trump organization for Donald J. Trump, as he was the 45th president of the United States and now the 47th president of the United States, is Eric Trump. And so Eric Trump is here to talk about time management, promoting from within, marketing, branding, quality control, sales systems, workflow design, workflow mapping, how to build. I mean, everything that you see, the Trump hotels, the Trump golf courses, all their products, the man who manages billions of dollars of real estate and thousands of employees is here to teach us how to do it.
You are talking about one of the greatest brands on the planet from a business standpoint. Right. I mean, who else has been able to create a brand like the Trump brand? I mean, look at it. And this is the man behind the business for the last, pretty much since 2015. He's been the man behind it. So you're talking, we're into 9 going into 10 years of him running it, and we get to tap into that knowledge. That's going to be amazing.
Now, think about this for a second.
But that Clay Clark, man, he is one character.
It's a good word for him, character. Yeah, that is it.
Good, driven, smart. And I've never met a guy who was so hyper all the time. He's doing so much good. And then I met his mother, and she just says, she just lets him be Clay Clark. I mean, so he's endorsed by his mother, and he's doing magnificent work. So it was great meeting you out there and all the people that he surrounds himself with. Clay Clark starts his days at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, he's a machine. He's a machine.
But I have problems with my company starting at 9 o'clock. Yes, hundreds of people showing up at 5 a.m. in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, he's a leader of a leader. He's a fantastic young man.
No, he is.
The lineup continues to grow, and this is how we do our tickets here at the Thrivetime Show. If you want to get a VIP ticket, you can absolutely do it. It's $500 for a VIP ticket. We've always done it that way. Now, if you want to take a general admission ticket, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. And the reason why I do that, and the reason why we do that is because we want to make our events affordable for everybody. I grew up without money. I totally understand what it's like to be in a tight spot. So if you want to attend, it's $250 or whatever price you want to pay. That's how I do it. And it's $500 for a VIP ticket. Now, we only have limited seating here. With the most people we've ever had in this building was for the Jim Brewer presentation. Jim Brewer came here, the legendary comedian Jim Brewer came to Tulsa, and we had
718 people. 718 people.
And I thought to myself, there's no more room. I felt kind of bad that a couple people had VIP seats in the men's restroom. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. But I thought, you know what, we should probably add on. So again, if you want to get tickets for this event, all you have to do is go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go to thrivetimeshow.com. When you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you'll go there, you'll request a ticket, boom. Or if you want to text me, if you want a little bit faster service, you say, I want you to call me right now. Just text my number. It's my cell phone number, my personal cell phone number. We'll keep that private between you, me, everybody. We'll keep that private. And anybody. Don't share that with anybody except for everybody. That's my private cell phone number. It's 918-851-0102. 918-851-0102. I know we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people that attend these conferences, and to be bilingually sensitive, my cell phone number is 918-851-0102.
That is not actually bilingual. That's just saying Juan for a one. It's not the same thing.
I think you're attacking me. Now, let's talk about this. Now, what kind of stuff will you learn at the Thrivetime Show workshop? So, Aaron, you've been to many of these over the past 7-8 years, so let's talk about it. I'll tee up the thing, and then you tell me what you're going to learn here, okay?
Okay.
You're going to learn marketing and branding. What are we going to learn about marketing and branding?
Oh, yeah, we're going to dive into, so many people say, I got to get my brand known out there, like the Trump brand, right? You want to get that brand out there. It's like, how do I actually make people know what my business is and make it a household name? You're going to learn some intricacies of how you can do that.
You're going to learn sales. So many people struggle to sell something. This just in, your business will go to hell if you can't sell. So we're going to teach you sales. We're going to teach you search engine optimization, how to come up top in the search engine results. We're going to teach you how to manage people. Aaron, you have managed, no exaggeration, hundreds of people throughout your career and thousands of contractors. And most people struggle with managing people. Why does everybody have to learn how to manage people?
Well, because first of all, you either have great people or you have people who suck. And so it can be a challenge. Learning how to work with a large group of people and get everybody pulling in the same direction can be a challenge. But if you have the right systems, you have the right processes, and you're really good at selecting great ones, and we have a process we teach about how to find great people. When you start with the people who have a great attitude, they're teachable, they're driven, all of those things, then, you can get those people all pulling in the same direction.
So we're going to teach you branding, marketing, sales, search engine optimization. We're going to teach you accounting. We're going to teach you personal finance, how to manage your finance. We're going to teach you time management. How do you manage your time? How do you get more done during a typical day? How do you build an organization if you're not organized? How do you do organization? How do you build an org chart? Everything that you need to know to start and grow a business will be taught during this 2-day interactive business workshop. Now, let me tell you how the format is set up here. And again, folks, this is a 2-day interactive 15. Think about this, folks. It's 2 days. Each day it starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 5 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 days. It's a 2-day interactive workshop. The way we do it is we do a 30-minute teaching session, and then we break for 15 minutes for a question and answer session. So, Aaron, what kind of great stuff happens during that 15-minute question and answer session after every teaching session?
I actually think it's the best part about the workshops, because here's what happens. I've been to lots of these things over the years. I've paid many thousands of dollars to go to them. And you go in there and they talk in vague generalities and they're constantly upselling you for something, trying to get you to buy this thing or that thing or this program or this membership. And you leave not getting your very specific questions answered about your business or your employees or what you're doing on your marketing. And what's awesome about this is we literally answer every single question that any person asks. And it's very specific to what your business is.
And what we do is we allow you as the attendee to write your questions on the whiteboard.
Yep.
And then we literally, as you mentioned, we answer every single question on the whiteboard. And then we take a 15-minute break to stretch and to make it entertaining when you're stretching. And this is a true story. When you get up and stretch, you'll be greeted by mariachis.
Sure.
There's going to probably be alpaca here, llamas, helicopter rides, a coffee bar, a snow cone. There's just...
You had a crocodile one time. That was pretty interesting.
You know, I should write that down. And I can do that.
Sorry for that one guy that we lost.
The crocodile, we duct taped its face so that, right? We duct taped.
No, it was a baby crocodile.
And it was duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape around the mouth so it didn't bite anybody. But it was really cool passing that thing around and
I should do that. We have a small petting zoo that will be assembled. It's going to be great. And then you're in the company of hundreds of entrepreneurs. So there's not a lot of people in America today. In fact, there's less than 10 million people today, according to U.S. Debt Clock, that identify as being self-employed. So if you have a country with 350 million people, that means you have less than 3% of our population that's even self-employed. Yeah. So you only have 3 out of every 100 people in America that are self-employed to begin with. And when Inc. magazine reports that 96% of businesses fail by default, you have a 1 out of 1,000 chance of succeeding in the game of business. But yet the average client that you and I work with, we can typically double this. And this is no hyperbole, no exaggeration. And I have thousands of testimonials to back this up. We have thousands of testimonials to back it up. But when you work with a home builder, when I work with a business owner, we can typically double the size of the company within 24 months.
Yeah.
Double. And you say double? Yeah, there's businesses that we have tripled. There's businesses we've grown 8x. There's so many examples you can see at thrivetimeshow.com. But again, this is the most interactive, best business workshop on the planet. This is objectively the highest rated and most reviewed business workshop on the planet.
I was looking to learn how to take my business, like they've said today, from being very successful to being systematic. I've got a very successful practice in 3 different cities, make good money. Just want to take it to the next level with systems and processes to where I can drive my cars more.
Paul Hood.
I have been a CPA for 33 years.
And what kind of growth have you and your great team had here over the past, let's say, 5-6 years?
For the last 5, when I met you 5 years ago, we were doing 3 million. This year we'll do 24 million.
Whoa. And you say, Clay, I'm not going to get a ticket unless you give me more. Okay, fine. We're going to serve you the same meal both days. True story. We cater in the food, and because I keep it simple, I literally bring in the same food both days for lunch. It's Ted Escondido's, an incredible Mexican restaurant. That's going to happen. And someone says, I want more. This is not enough.
Give me more.
Okay. I'm not going to mention their names right now because I'm working on it behind the scenes here. But we've got one guy who's given me a verbal to be here. And this is a guy who's one of the wealthiest people in Oklahoma. And nobody really knows who he is because he's built systems that are very utilitarian, that offer a lot of value. He's made a lot of money in it's where you rent. It's short term. It's where you're renting storage spaces. He's a storage space guy. He owns what do you call that? The rental,
a storage space.
Storage units. This guy owns storage units. He owns railroad cars. He owns a lot of assets that make money on a daily basis, but they're not like customer facing. Most people don't know who owns the mini storage facility, or most people don't know who owns the warehouse that's passively making money. Most people don't know who owns the railroad cars, but this guy, he's given me a verbal that he will be here, and we just continue to add more and more success stories. So if you're out there today and you want to change your life, you want to give yourself an incredible gift, you want a life-changing experience, you want to learn how to start and grow a company, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Go there right now, thrivetimeshow.com. Request a ticket for the 2-day interactive event.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Thomas Crossan, owner and founder of Full Package Media in Dallas, Texas. I've been a coaching client with Clay Clark since the beginning of our business. We started about a year ago, August of last year. I had no clients, no idea what we were doing, no clue really what was going on. And now we've grown to where we've got 6 photographers, we've got office space here. I have an admin, sales person that works for us full time, developing an online system, and a lot of that growth we attribute to Clay helping us. And there's so many things that, his stuff is not revolutionary. It's not this crazy walk on hot coals and all this stuff. It's just real stuff.
It's going to be a blasty blast. There's no upsells. Aaron, I could not be more excited about this event.
I think it is incredible. And there's somebody out there right now you're watching and you're like, but I already signed up for this incredible other program called Smoke Your Way to Thin. I think that's going to change your life. I promise you this will be 10 times better than that. Whoa.
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
Don't do the Smoke Your Way to Thin conference. That is, I've tried it. Don't do it.
Yeah, chain smoking is not a viable. It is life changing. It is life changing. If you become a chain smoker, it is life changing.
Not the best weight loss program, though.
Right. Really. So if you're looking to have life changing results in a way that won't cause you to have a stoma, get your tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. Again, that's Aaron Antis. I'm Clay Clark, and reminding you and inviting you to come out to the 2-day interactive Thrive Time Show workshop right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I promise you it will be a life-changing experience. We can't wait to see you right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Whoa. What kind of growth have you had since you and I have been working together over these past few years?
3.45 million. I got those stats before I got on here.
So you've grown by 3.45 million.
Yeah, 3,450,000.
Would that be like if you took the combined revenue, maybe doubled it? Have we gone up by
about almost 3, not quite.
Whoa.